Most of us spend our lives chasing approval. We want to be liked, admired, and accepted. But in doing so, we often sacrifice our freedom. We shape our choices around other people's opinions, and we lose sight of who we really are. The Courage to be Disliked, inspired by the teachings of Alfred Adler and written by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumite Koga, challenges this way of living. It argues that true happiness comes not from being liked, but from being free. Free to live authentically. Free to embrace our own path. Free to stop measuring ourselves against others. The book unfolds as a dialogue between a philosopher and a young man. The young man represents all of us, full of doubts, fears, and insecurities. The philosopher represents wisdom, calm, clear, and uncompromising. Through their conversations, we discover a radical idea: that life is not about seeking approval, but about finding courage. Courage to be disliked. Courage to live without the chains of other people's expectations. Courage to embrace responsibility for our own happiness. The philosopher explains that much of our suffering comes from comparison. We compare ourselves to others, and we feel inferior. We compare our achievements, and we feel inadequate. But Adlerian psychology teaches that these comparisons are illusions. Life is not a competition. Each of us has our own path, our own mission, our own meaning. The book also challenges the idea of trauma. It argues that the past does not define us. We are not prisoners of our childhood, our failures, or our scars. We are free to choose our future, regardless of our past. This is a radical message. It means that happiness is not given to us. It is chosen. It means that freedom is not found in approval. It is found in courage. It means that life is not about being liked. It is about being true. In this cinematic summary, we will explore why seeking approval traps us in unhappiness, how comparison creates illusions of inferiority, why the past does not define us, and how courage, the courage to be disliked, unlocks true freedom. This is not just a summary. It is an invitation to stop chasing approval, an invitation to stop living for others, an invitation to find the courage to be disliked, and in doing so, the courage to be free. From the moment we are children, we are taught to seek approval. Approval from parents, teachers, friends, and society. We learn that being liked means being accepted, and being accepted means being worthy. But the courage to be disliked challenges this belief. It argues that the pursuit of approval is not the path to happiness. It is the path to unhappiness. The philosopher in the book explains that when we live for approval, we surrender our freedom. Every choice we make is shaped by what others might think. We dress to impress. We speak to please. We act to conform. And in doing so, we lose ourselves. Approval is a moving target. No matter how hard we try, we cannot control how others see us. Their opinions shift with moods, biases, and circumstances. To build our happiness on their approval is to build on sand. It is unstable, fragile, and destined to collapse. The young man in the dialogue resists this idea. He insists that being liked is essential. But the philosopher counters. If your happiness depends on being liked, then your happiness is not yours. It belongs to others. It is at the mercy of their judgment. Seeking approval also creates fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of criticism. Fear of being different. These fears chain us, keeping us from living authentically. We hide our true selves, suppress our desires, and silence our voices, all to avoid disapproval. The philosopher explains that true freedom comes when we stop living for approval, when we stop measuring ourselves against others, when we stop chasing likes, applause, and validation. Freedom comes when we live authentically, regardless of whether others approve. This is not easy. It requires courage. Courage to be disliked. Courage to stand alone. Courage to embrace the truth that happiness is not found in approval, but in authenticity. Part 1 of The Courage to be Disliked teaches us that the pursuit of approval is a trap. Promises happiness but delivers anxiety. It promises acceptance but delivers dependence. It promises worth but delivers emptiness. The lesson is clear. Stop chasing approval. Stop living for others. Stop surrendering your freedom. Happiness is not given by others. It is chosen by you. And the first step is courage. The courage to be disliked. Comparison is one of the greatest thieves of happiness. From childhood we are taught to measure ourselves against others. Their grades, their achievements, their wealth, their beauty. And every time we compare we create an illusion. The illusion of inferiority. The philosopher in The Courage to be Disliked explains that inferiority is not a fact. It is a feeling. And that feeling is born from comparison. When we look at someone else's success, we tell ourselves we are less. When we see someone else's beauty, we tell ourselves we are inadequate. When we see someone else's wealth, we tell ourselves we are poor. But these judgments are illusions. Life is not a competition. Each of us has our own path, our own mission, our own meaning. To compare is to deny our uniqueness. To compare is to measure apples against oranges, stars against oceans, lives against lives. The young man in the dialogue insists that comparison is natural. How else can we know our worth? But the philosopher counters, worth is not measured against others. Worth is measured against ourselves. Against our own growth, our own choices, our own courage. Comparison creates a cycle of unhappiness. When we feel inferior, we chase superiority. We try to outdo others, to prove ourselves, to win approval. But this chase never ends. There will always be someone richer, smarter, stronger, or more beautiful. And so the cycle continues. Inferiority, competition, exhaustion. The philosopher explains that true freedom comes when we stop comparing. When we stop measuring ourselves against others and start measuring ourselves against our own values. When we stop chasing superiority and start embracing authenticity. Inferiority is an illusion. It is not real. It is a story we tell ourselves when we compare. And like all stories, it can be rewritten. Part 2 of The Courage to be Disliked teaches us that happiness is not found in comparison. It is found in authenticity. It is found in living our own path, regardless of how it looks next to others. The lesson is clear. Stop comparing. Stop chasing superiority. Stop believing the illusion of inferiority. Your worth is not measured against others. It is measured against yourself. And when you embrace this truth, you find freedom. We often believe that our past defines us. That our childhood, our failures, our scars, and our traumas shape who we are and who we can become. But the courage to be disliked challenges this belief. It argues that the past does not define us. We are free to choose our future, regardless of what has happened before. The philosopher explains that many people live as prisoners of their past. They say, I cannot succeed because I failed before. They say, I cannot love because I was hurt before. They say, I cannot change because my childhood damaged me. But these are excuses. They are stories we tell ourselves to avoid responsibility. Adlerian psychology teaches that the past is not destiny. It is context. It is background. It is history. But it is not fate. What matters is not what happened, but how we choose to interpret it. The young man in the dialogue resists this idea. He insists that trauma is real, that scars cannot be erased. But the philosopher counters, trauma is not the event itself. Trauma is the meaning we assign to the event. And meaning can be changed. This is a radical idea. It means that even the deepest wounds do not control us. It means that even the darkest past does not imprison us. It means that freedom is always possible. The philosopher explains that life is not determined by causes. It is determined by purposes. We do not act because of the past. We act because of the goals we set for the future. If we cling to the past, we remain stuck. But if we set new goals, we move forward. This is the essence of Adler's teaching. We are not products of our past. We are creators of our future. Part 3 of The Courage to be Disliked teaches us that the past is not a chain. It is a story. And stories can be rewritten. The lesson is clear. Stop blaming the past. Stop clinging to scars. Stop surrendering to trauma. You are free to choose. You are free to change. You are free to create a new future. The courage to be disliked is also the courage to let go of the past. To stop saying, "I cannot because I was hurt." To start saying, "I can because I choose." The past does not define you. The future does. And the future is yours to create. The courage to be disliked is not just a book. It is a revolution in how we see ourselves, our relationships, and our freedom. We've explored why seeking approval traps us in unhappiness. We've seen how comparison creates illusions of inferiority. We've discovered that the past does not define us, and that we are free to choose our future. The message is clear. Happiness is not given by others. It is chosen by us. Freedom is not found in approval. It is found in courage. And life is not about being liked. It is about being true. The courage to be disliked is the courage to live authentically. To stop chasing approval. To stop comparing. To stop blaming the past. It is the courage to embrace responsibility for our own happiness. This courage is not easy. It means standing alone. It means facing criticism. It means being misunderstood. But it also means being free. Free to live your own path. Free to embrace your own meaning. Free to create your own happiness. The philosopher's dialogue with the young man is a mirror for all of us. We are the young man, full of doubts, fears, and insecurities. And we are invited to become philosophers, calm, clear, and courageous. The courage to be disliked is the courage to be free. And freedom is the foundation of happiness. So ask yourself, are you living for approval or for authenticity? Are you trapped in comparison or embracing your uniqueness? Are you clinging to the past or creating your future? The choice is yours. The courage is yours. The freedom is yours. And the time is now.